Hey, thanks for tuning in. I normally have maybe a handful of kits on the bench at a time in various stages. After the holidays, I realized I had almost a dozen hanging about. These here are some kits that I completed last year as I make this brief intro. I spend a lot of time watching modeling videos here on the tube and have learned so much in the last couple of years. I think I'll try making some videos myself of the painting and weathering of some of these on the bench and full kit build ones for fresh models. A lot of these will be Tamiya, but there's some Dragon and ICM. When I was growing up, it was Monogram, Revel, and Tamiya. That was it. Okay, I hope you enjoy and happy modeling. Here's a Panther A from Tamiya. I think I'll paint this like the one at the Tank Museum, which is on my bucket list to visit. It's a lower tier tool, I know, but this was an extremely pleasant build. And after the Panzer II, my second favorite tank. I prime almost everything with Vallejo red-brown and seal with a poly satin coat before moving on. I usually prime the barrel, which had a darker heat-resistant primer with NATO black, but the one at the museum is all red-brown. I'll apply the camo pattern and a light detail wash. I won't weather this one. I use NATO black for tires and a tool base coat. Here are the types of running gear in the kit. My track primer color is Vallejo Dark Rust. I don't mind rubber tracks at all. I'm a geezer and find magic tracks to be tiresome. More on those and metal tracks later. A Stug IV from Tamiya. I'll probably do a tri-color camo pattern for this one. Maybe place it in the Italian campaign. Most of my kits are at this stage. I need to start the camo painting and weathering. I've cut the skirting into panels and will probably leave a couple off. I need to do some interior coloring as I've left some hatches open. Another straightforward build. I'll also give those leaf springs a light coat of iron before moving on. I'll clean up those wheel rods with some lacquer thinner at the end. I had to steal that muffler from another Panzer IV chassis. I usually paint the wheels NATO black and then prime using a circle stencil, then touch up any overspray. The Brummbar from Tamiya. This tool is like 45 years old, right? I've been wanting to try the disc pattern camo, so I think that's what I'll do on this one. I do have non-Tamiya kits coming up. I have some tools I still need to add. Panzer IV type running gear. I have the skirting and bracket for one of the sides. Yeah, I need to get this stuff on the tank. I'll put the spare tracks on later after I paint and weather them. The Nashorn from Dragon. I bought this in 2007 when the tool was quite new. I'm going to do a Kursk color scheme on this one. The last of the Panzer IV chassis kits on the bench. I've never actually built a proper Panzer IV. This is a rescue. I'm basically starting over at the painting stage. The wheels were already glued on, so I primed with red-brown, masked around the wheels, shot them with NATO black, and will stencil in the wheel paint. The 88 gun on this was very detailed. I probably spent as much time making it as the rest of the kit. This was my introduction to magic tracks, which at the time I thought was the curse of Satan. However, Panzermeister has a great tutorial on making these, and they're not quite as bad now. Panzer II F from Tamiya. I'll do this one in Africa Corps, between the summers of 41 and 42. This was a very pleasant build, like their Panzer III kit. I've painted the interior spots and masked. I usually texture paint and rust up the muffler separately, and it goes on later. Have the first coat of black on the rollers and a bit of iron on the springs. Here's the running gear. Even for rubber band tracks, the quality of these is not great. I'll dust them up nice and good later. Flakpanzer I by Hobby Boss. This was a pleasant build as well. Fairly new tooling. I'm going to make this one just like the box, German gray, maybe Southeastern Europe. Came with some photo etch, great fitting, highly detailed, and nice instructions. If you're looking for a unique Panzer I build, I'm glad I got this, and it was not too much either. Recommended. For this one, I'm painting the rubber parts later, instead of before. Very nice 20mm gun. Comes with a trailer. I've put together the flat stretches of track, and these are the individual links that still have to go on. The Hetzer from Dragon, one of my favorite looking AFVs. I'm going to try an ambush camo scheme on this one. A mid-90s tooling I bought 15 years ago. And it's another rescue. I wasn't too happy with the previous paint scheme. The overall fitting on this kit was not so great, as I recall. It has a really nice texture and detailing though. That muffler isn't actually attached yet. I need to bore an exhaust hole as well. So after the Nashorn magic tracks, I decided to splurge and get some metal tracks. I couldn't bear the thought of gluing all those little links together again. I used that blacken it stuff. It works like magic. ICM's King Tiger late production. A fairly recent tool, 2016 I think. I really like how the one at the Tank Museum looks, and we'll try to replicate that. I'll clean up those wheel rods later. I had some breakages in the priming process. I'll give the tools a base coat of NATO black before sealing and moving on. Very nice detail on the turret. The machine gun broke off during priming. So, if you want a reference for how big that turret is, here's the Panzer I in the same scale. The tracks are quite sturdy and sufficiently detailed. Here's the menu of running gear. I like that there's no rubber painting to fuss with. Some of the parts that still need to go on. Not sure what that second shovel is doing in the baggie. Who hasn't built one of these? The Tamiya Kubelwagen. I bought this and a Schwimmwagen at the same time. I'm going to do this in Desert Africa Corps. You can see I'm somewhat into the painting. I primed it, did the hairspray, shot on the gray, chipped it, sealed it, put on hairspray, then applied DAK XF93. It's Tamiya's new paint. The RAL 7008, the green-gray camo, it just came. I'll apply it, chip that, filter, and begin weathering. LPJ Models has a stellar DAK Kubelwagen video, which I have learned so much from. That turned out so amazing I was inspired to try it myself. I forgot the rear skid plate, so it's a little behind the rest of the kit. Dragon Panzer I A, which I'm also doing in DAK. So I dropped it. I was about to start the weathering stage. I'll put it back together at some point. I did hairspray chipping over the gray base coat, and then over the desert yellow coat. NATO black on a few parts. And I need to do the mufflers. I did the exhaust mesh covers. Tamiya's Flakvierling Halftrack. This is another ubiquitous kit. I'm going to go with the box on this one, German gray and a white winter wash. The fitting was not very good, especially around the cab and engine cowling. I really had to fiddle with it and fill gaps. The gun is very well detailed. After watching James's excellent recent tutorial on painting leather seats, I'm going to give these another go. This is the menu of running gear. Those tires had a lot of flash. They still don't look very good texture-wise. At least the tracks are easy. I need to paint the rubber pads and weather it. My base coat for most any canvas bit is Russian World War II uniform. Then I highlight and shadow with different colors to make them look different. I think this was my first Airfix kit. I had done a 38T and wanted to do a 35T. I went with a Polish campaign camo scheme and dirtied it up. Too much, as you can barely see the dark brown. I need to add all the jerry cans to the back. One of the last steps in the build was putting the track links on. I pre-fitted the individual links to the drive sprocket and spinners. And now I can't find the section I glued together for the left front. Anyways, this will sit here until I can figure that out. Maultier Ambulance from ICM. This will be the first full build video coming to the channel in the near future. I bought this from Scale Model Kits, which is in the Ukraine, I think. This was a new site for me. The shipping was $17, but the model was only $30, so the out-the-door cost was actually less than everywhere else I looked. It shipped the next day and was here within a week and a half. This is everything except the running gear, which I'll build up next. The two roof parts are still detached, so I can put the clear pieces in at the end. My most recent purchases. My first video was a box opening of the Panzer II 50mm, and I bought a Panzer II Flakvierling at the same time. Hamilcar Barkas has a great box review of that one. So I don't usually do 48th scale, but a modeling buddy of mine is a 48 scale World War II airplane enthusiast, and he's doing a large diorama. I offered to do a couple armored fighting vehicles. I put these on my Christmas list, and here they are. So thanks for watching. Please come back later for the painting and weathering videos of these and future kits. Cheers!
These are helmets, mostly infantry.
Yes, these would be German as well, wouldn't they?
That's right.
You don't have anything from the Allied side?
No, that sort of thing wouldn't interest me at all, I'm afraid.